everyone, and welcome to the chat. I'm Catalina Alers. We have Angelia, Julie, and Amy joining the panel today.
Yay!
All right. We were calling it early. We had to separate the blondes from the brunettes.
Oh.
We're hair diverse today, apparently. All right, so we're going to get started because as kids are heading off to school for the first time, they'll likely be exposed to a new world of diversity that they haven't been exposed to before. And with the current divisive and controversial conversations surrounding race lately, how should parents prepare their children? It's a little awkward. And when it comes to race, one father is getting mixed reactions for saying that raising colorblind kids is actually a terrible idea. Author and speaker Doyen Richards, a black dad raising 2 daughters, says that, quote, by doing the whole "we're the same" thing, you're dismissing what a black kid or any person of color deals with. He calls this practice dangerous. So what do you think about teaching your kids to be colorblind? Amy, you're the only one at this table with kids. What do you think?
I mean, this is certainly a departure from how we were raised. I think it honestly is just coming down to semantics with words, right? Colorblind is just a buzzword. As a travel writer, I am huge into teaching my kids about different cultures. So let's just call it being culturally sensitive, right? We all have different ethnicities, and we can be culturally sensitive to all of our differences. And I like how they focused in this article about discussing how our differences are what make us unique and make us special. And it's certainly important to teach kids that different backgrounds maybe have different struggles. All those things are important. So I kind of was a little hung up on this one because I don't think colorblind is a bad thing, but I understand needing to be specific and proactive about the words that you're using and the way that you teach kids about different cultures.
Yeah. See, and I hate this idea, I mean, of actually separating so that you don't look at other characteristics from somebody and the diversity. I love when, I mean, my girlfriends, we have 8 of us, and there's eight girlfriends, and we are all so diverse. Completely different backgrounds, completely different walks of life, completely different races, and we love to talk about different race issues, different diversity issues. We love to learn each other's languages. I mean, we love that stuff. So to be on the other side and to go, you know what, I'm colorblind and all of my friends were all exactly the same. I don't like that. I don't want boys and girls to dress exactly the same. I don't want to speak the same. I don't want to look the same, although I don't want Catalina's hair next lifetime. But you know, I mean, but that's the things that I love about being different. And I want to celebrate being different. I don't want to celebrate being the same. That's going to be so monotonous and boring for children.
Yeah. I'll go back to what you said about it just being the words that we're using, that maybe it's not the intention, you know, colorblind. We get that it's supposed to be a good thing, but maybe the wording's off a little, just in some way. But I'm an 80s kid, so I remember the big word was we're a melting pot. And then eventually that came out as that's not the way that we want to be. We want to be more of a salad with different ingredients and different flavors. So we know that it's really kind of everything's just more, you know, spicing it up in a sense. But it should be recognizing everyone's differences as much as we can, but assimilating as people, you know, as we continue to grow.
And I even have a line of graphic tees that I came out with called Citizens of the Earth, because that's what I try to teach my kids, is we're all citizens of the earth. So no, we're not all the same, and that's a great thing. However, we all are on this earth together, and that's also to be celebrated.
What are your thoughts, though, Catalina? Because, I mean, I think the millennial generation really are the ones that are colorblind. I really see that in your generation.
I see it a lot, and if there was a movie that came out earlier this year called Get Out. It was written by Keenan Peele, who is he's a comedian. He has his own sketch shows and stuff, and he wrote this movie, and it was supposed to be this you know, grand artistic representation of these kinds of things like colorblind and not seeing race. The movie as a whole was this effort that white people are trying to put forward, and they're actually damaging the good effort that they're trying to do, where, you know, they're trying to say like, hey, black people, we get what you mean, we think you're great, but in reality, saying things like colorblind and I don't see race are more harmful, because like everything that you guys just said, it's the differences in cultures and in different countries that kind of make us more interesting, and you're learning more, and so to just kind of put everything together as one doesn't make sense. I mean, I lived the first 5 years of my life in Turkey and then moved here. My families are from Colombia and Puerto Rico, and I like just to think that to think all of those cultures are just all the same, like it's just not, it doesn't make any sense. Like it's completely impossible to live that way or think that way.
The countries that you've talked about, do you see that happening? What's happening in the U.S. when it comes to race, and now we're just seeing it being spotlighted the way it is? Do you see that in other countries where they have that same kind of bubbling over?
Well, it's in Hispanic culture alone, there is a sort of inter-racism against lighter and darker colored Hispanics. So, and that's been around for a long time, but it's not nearly as serious as it is here in the States. So yeah, totally different.
I love the idea of a mixed salad. Rather than a puree salad, we're a mixed salad. I like that. That's a good analogy. All right, well, here's a story that's getting a lot of mixed reactions today. A woman who was told to lose weight by a, quote, emotionally abusive partner who deliberately bought an engagement ring that was too small for her. Chloe Cooper said that during a failed proposal attempt, she was told by her former boyfriend, quote, "You can wear it when you lose weight." They broke up just a few months later, as you can imagine, and she did go on to lose weight, though, later for herself. So, ladies, what do you think about this? This is an interesting story.
This is hysterical.
This is girl power. So, what do you girls think about?
I'm surprised that it took her months, first of all, to dump him. Because had I been sitting there like, yes, put the ring on, and he's like, oh no, lose some weight first, I would have given him a different finger and said, we're not together anymore. But I'm glad that she realized, because it seems like she was obviously in a very emotionally abusive relationship, and that she finally got out.
She'd been with him for like 5 years, I read.
Wow.
So, and since she was like 16, so in essence,
really.
they
and he was
kind of
5 years older than her too.
And he a little bit raised her. And emotional abuse is really all about control. So I imagine that was a difficult thing for her to untangle herself from. And maybe he did her a favor by giving her that ring for her to finally,
right,
you know,
wake up.
Reading the
throw down the mic. No.
Yeah, reading the backstory though, apparently she was not at that weight before she met him, being 16.
Right.
All right, your metabolism a little faster, but he wanted her to gain the weight, right? Like he wanted her to put on the pounds so no one else wanted her, and then like to twist that around and throw it in her face.
I'm not going to be with you unless you're, 50 pounds lighter.
Yeah.
Right. So messed up.
But the ultimate part of this story was, I mean, he was the catalyst to make her move on and move forward. So she said she used to frequent the snack box because she's from London. So the snack box was her go-to when she was bored or she was really upset. And so upset about the relationship. So she put on weight on more and more and more. And then she actually finally got the nerve to leave him. When she did, she met another guy, and this other guy, Ashley, is her new boyfriend and now fiance. Oh. And so they were the ones that actually, or he's the one that got her to go to the gym. So now she's lost a ton of weight, and she's super happy and engaged to an amazing guy that I think was encouraging her rather than discouraging her and making her gain weight.
Guilting her, yeah,
exactly.
Basically.
That's a great story, and how empowering for a lot of people who probably are going through the same thing. You know, she had the ultimate revenge.
Yeah. So.
It's girl power.
So good.
Yeah.
We're talking more and more about food on this show, though, and it's already making me hungry. All right, we're not done yet, because a restaurant in England is facing a potential lawsuit after a controversial image of Victoria Beckham. Here's the ad. It's the one on the back of the restaurant's delivery van featuring a cartoon image of Beckham. The caricature wears a sash that reads, "Anorexic fashion icon," and the slogan reads, "Our new Victoria Beckham thin crust, only 2 millimeters thin." A spokesperson for Beckham says the image is highly inappropriate and defamatory to be so thoughtless with a person's reputation in this way. Therefore, they're obviously seeking legal advice. I can't believe they really think that they thought they could get away with this.
Right.
They did for 3 years.
But it's like eventually she was gonna find out. Like, how could you? I hope he saved up a lot of money for this lawsuit, because it's gonna cost him a bit.
I thought it was illegal to use someone's likeness or image to sell your products to begin with. So I don't know how he did get away with it, but to do it in such an egregious way, wow. I really hope he does see the backlash and his business suffers because of that.
Well, we have Seth Patrick on in a little bit, our attorney, so he's going to tell us the answer to that, because that's going to be interesting. I think it's a crazy story, but I mean, the fact that she was actually, she had problems with anorexia and bulimia her whole life because of the Spice Girls. They were encouraged to lose weight, and they were encouraged on a daily basis to lose weight. That's what she wrote in her book. And so with that, her whole life has been about losing weight and staying thin, and as thin as she possibly can. And so she suffered with bulimia, she suffered with anorexia, and now she supposedly suffers with a conglomeration of the two. And
that's
so,
rough.
So the two of them together, and this is only hearsay, this is rumors, but she lives in LA with her husband, and she goes to she frequents a restaurant, and the restaurant owner says that she does this thing called spit, chew and spit. And this was all, I mean, this is, so I do not know if this is true. This is allegedly.
Oh, chew.
And so she chews the food and she spits the food out. So that is how she stays so incredibly thin, because she's 5'4" and she's under 100 pounds.
Yeah, she is.
So she's had 4 children, I think, or 5 children.
4,
I'm not sure. And so she stayed incredibly thin throughout the entire time. And supposedly that's what she does. And she's always struggled with it.
Right.
So with that being said, her always struggling with that issue and then being put on the back of something and to promote that and to actually slander her, I guess.
Yeah, and it's not cute. I mean, look at it. It's just, like, it's nothing but skin and bones.
Well, now that I was looking at the image, I'm wondering if they're trying to say it's a caricature of her, and that's why it's allowed to do, because she's never obviously looked like that thin.
Right.
But what a horrible way to beat up on someone who is dealing with that mental illness and who is trying to correct it and fix it day to day.
And I wonder how many people, you know, how many women or even men can deal with it as well, riding behind that truck, seeing that image, how it affect them. And, you know, the owner was quoted as saying, no one's ever complained about it. It's not hurting anyone. Well, apparently it is. You know, maybe the one person that you're actually making fun of, and for him to monetarily benefit from that, you know, I mean, she's a celebrity. Maybe she could pull a Taylor Swift and sue for $1.
Look at that next to the pizza, and it's like, how does anyone go, oh, let's go get some 2mm thin crust pizza? Like,
that makes me not want to eat pizza.
Right? It's so gross. It doesn't look good.
That does the polar opposite. I don't like that. I love pizza, but I don't want it from that place. So, all right. Well, also under fire today, Walmart. Yep, the company is in damage control mode over a controversial photo from one of its stores. It appears to show a back-to-school sign placed right above the gun display. Yep, the sign reads, "Own the school year like a hero." And Walmart quickly apologized on Twitter when the picture surfaced and called it horrible. So how does this actually happen? This is an interesting story behind it, too. This is actually a hoax.
What?
So, yeah,
really?
This news just broke like 6 hours ago that it was actually a hoax.
Wow.
And they can't, Walmart is not releasing who did it, but they're saying that they have proof.
Wow.
And there was actually a hoax that was done. So there was a woman who came out with this and said she wouldn't say where the photo was taken, which Walmart, but then eventually she alluded to the idea that it was in Indiana, and she wouldn't show proof that it was the Indiana store, but they said that they had fixed it. And they have proof that someone did this. So they're not saying that she did it, the one that was the photog, and they're not saying that an employee did it. They're not saying a disgruntled employee or a patron did it, but so we don't know where the story came from, but this is actually not true.
I'm not shocked to hear that, because the story that I was reading, the original Twitter post was from a YouTuber who his Twitter alone had over 100,000 followers, and then, or near to that, and then his YouTube had well over that. Down the feed, someone says, "Well done on getting trending there." And so I did some research into this YouTuber's. Into his site, and this particular YouTuber, he does gaming and films his gaming and has ongoing commentary with his audience, and some of the things that he had to say were so foul and so awful towards women and anybody really. No one was left untouched, and I thought to myself, this has all just been a ploy for him to get trending.
So was it photoshopped or was it set? It was set up in the store.
It was actually done, but they're not saying who moved the sign.
And then
so it could have been an employee, it could have been somebody else. But you know, Walmart's been under fire quite a bit. They've been under fire for, I don't know if you guys remember, they made a Coke display, and they did it in the actual image of the 9/11 tower, and they were under scrutiny for that. But that actually was true, and they did take that down. But then this happened here, so you would think that it might be true because they've been under fire before, but it's not.
That's so gross.
They have to have security footage of it.
But that's what's so wrong with social media, is you can put something out and it could be completely false, could be a joke, could not be a joke, and the thing is it goes viral and it ruins your reputation.
And you have so many people like this YouTuber who want to do it just for the sake of being viral for a day or two.
Yeah, get more followers, get more likes, more attention. I mean, I went to a site. Right,
Amy, you bought in.
I did.
I did too, and I would never have been the person to follow up to see if it was fake or not. I've just been like, oh, okay, that happened, and then
lots of fake news out there, everybody. Lots of fake news.
All right, moving on. Coming up next, where's the one place that you shouldn't be using emojis? Nowhere, if you ask me. But we're gonna discuss when we come back.